From her first release in 2016 to the release of her 2023 album debut, Hope You Can Forgive Me, and beyond, Madison McFerrin has shared her distinctive, sweet and salty, often layered vocals and edgy songwriting with the world, and we are better for it. A Berkeley graduate with deep familial musical ties, Madison consistently presents a singularly fresh manifestation of magic, both in her performances and on her recordings.
Said I'm on my way. You don't have to wait. Hello, Denver, Colorado. KUVO Jazz. My name is Madison McFerrin. I'm here with my friend Donis, and we are here to play songs that I wrote, which is cool. Get to do that for my job and sing them. So that's what I'm going to do. That's why you hired me to be here. And we're going to have a good time. This next song is about almost dying in a car crash, but not. Shout out to seatbelts and Toyota Prius crash safety for whenever that sponsorship comes through. Yeah, we're going to have fun. That's all we know how to do. Let's do it. What is all forgiving when it's said and done? Could it be we're living all wrong, taking it for granted until we're begging, please don't leave me now. I ain't ready. I won't let you down, no. So please don't leave me now. Leave me now. Do you think it's over when you walk away? Time ain't moving slower, so don't wait till you meet your maker, to be begging, please don't leave me now. I ain't ready. I won't let you down, no. So please don't leave me now. Leave me now. Told you that it ain't my time. Don't cross that line. Oh, throw your love away. I won't let you down, no. So please don't leave me now. Leave me now. Don't leave me now. I ain't ready. I won't let you down, no. So please don't leave me now. Leave me now. Don't, please don't leave me. I won't let you down, no. So please don't leave me now. Leave me now. Shout out to Not Dying. Bam, 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 bam. Clearly, I do that every time I sing this song. Thank you guys so much for having me here at KUVO Jazz, Denver, Colorado, Mile High City. This is actually the first time I've been in Denver proper. I've been in the airport a number of times. As soon as I got off my plane, I was like, I've been here before. And actually, Donis, you will appreciate this. The Denver airport is actually where we solidified a Christmas banger that we wrote last fall called Alone on Christmas. Wrote it on the plane from Vancouver to Denver on our way to Anchorage, Alaska. And we were sitting in the Denver airport when I sang it for you for the first time. I was like, I hear this song about being alone on Christmas. And, fast forward a couple months and it will be on the radio. We're trying to take over with the Christmas spirit. Yes, it is June, but hey, it's never too early to start thinking about joy and laughter and being single on Christmas. Woo, okay. I think this is the altitude talking, because, what? I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, next song, moving along. So I released my debut album, I Hope You Can Forgive Me, last May, not this one that just happened, but 2 Mays ago. And I wrote all of it during the ongoing pandemic, but it was when we were like really in lockdown, and I was living in Brooklyn at the time in my apartment, and I didn't get to do live shows anymore, which is my favorite way to express myself, and I really love entertaining and performing in front of people, and I didn't get to do that anymore, and so I used my creative energy to get pretty good at making biscuits and also pretty good at making beats. So I produced 70% of my debut album myself, which, if you guys don't know, women only make up 2.8% of producers in the music industry. And this next song is actually the first song that I finished on the album and was the first one that was like, I think I could do this. I think I could make this work. So shout out to all my women producers out there. Let's do this. We're going to dance.
2, 1, 2.
Here I am, back again, underrated and afraid. I done came all this way for nothing. Bittersweet memories got me dealing in my feelings. I admit a bit too much, a bit too much. Been dealing in my feelings a bit too much. So am I running in your mind? Or am I running out of time? Undefined is a reminder I ain't done, so you can stay away from me. Just stay away from me. I don't know how to go unrestricted. I'm conflicted, 'cause I came all this way for something, something. See, story goes, I must fall, but I'm staying. No more waiting, don't mistake my mistakes for nothing, nothing. So I'm running in your mind. Or am I running out of time? Undefined is a reminder I ain't done, 'cause if I'm running in your mind, then I ain't running out of time. Undefined is a reminder I ain't done, so you can stay away from me. Just stay away from me. Just stay away from me. That song is about anxiety. I'm so used to like hearing applause after that, and there's that sounds like ew. But okay. So hello everybody in the Denver area. last time I was in Colorado, seriously, I was like 2004 or something like that. Things have changed. But, you know, I'm no longer a 13-year-old, and I think that's okay. Actually, I prefer it, honestly. 13 is a terrible age. I had to look at all the cameras for that, just so you know. Again, this is my friend Donis. He is coming from Chicago. I came from Los Angeles. I was not anticipating how hot it would be. I don't think Donis did either. What do you mean it's 95 and just like hot? But I do guess that since you're a mile high, you are a mile closer to the sun. So it does make sense. Does make sense. Tea time. So again, wrote all this stuff in the ongoing pandemic. And in 2020, the CDC said that the safest way to travel was to drive and to camp. So my partner at the time, we were living in Brooklyn. His family's in Chicago. My family's in California. So we were like, road trip. And this is before the lovely Prius was totaled, as I depicted in Please Don't Leave Me Now a few songs ago. If you haven't heard it or if you missed it, rewind. Hit that like 15 rewind button like 10 times. But we really enjoyed the cross-country trip. If anybody has ever traveled cross-country, it's really beautiful. And honestly, when you are driving east to west, when you hit Colorado, that's when it gets real. And when it's like, wow, this country's really beautiful visually. We can talk about the socio-political, economic problems another time. That is not KUVO jazz time, okay? We're going to sing. But we enjoyed it so much that we decided to make it a little bit of a tradition. So we did it in the summer of 2020 and the summer of 2021. And we wanted to take different routes each time so we could see as much of the country as possible, right? But each time we did pass through one particular state one time each round trip. And each time we got into a huge, massive blowout argument. The kind that's like, do I want to be with this person anymore? And so what did I do as a songwriter? Only what my duty is, which is to write a song about it that this person now has to hear all the time. Because that's how I, as a songwriter, win arguments. Not really, but I'm just, being petty. Anyway. Let's do it. Something about the desert, it must get you heated. Seems we can't escape delirium. Caught between the canyons, you make your body echo. Everything we hear's been said and done. I thought that it was over, thought that we could make it across the Colorado line. But I was mistaken, and I'm over waiting for you to make up your damn mind. Gotta get out of Utah, gotta get back home. But is Brooklyn any better? Or should we be alone? There's something about formations splitting into pieces, cracking the windshield as we drive. It must irritate you to the point you break too, wondering if we could still survive. Maybe this is crazy, maybe I'm just lazy. Whatever the case, let's just decide. 'Cause I'm totally forgot that I name drop Colorado in that song. So shout out to you guys here in Colorado. For anyone curious to the answer of or should we be alone, turns out the answer was a yes. Single once again for the first time since Obama's presidency. And it feels great. Feels good. Feels lovely. I'm enjoying myself. If you want to hear more explicit tales of my singledom, come to a show at a place near you. You guys will be seeing this after my Denver show, but I'll be back. I'll be back with this lovely gentleman right here, Adonis. We're going to keep it moving. Only got a few more for you guys, but I hope you are enjoying your time on the interwebs watching me, Madison McFerrin, at KUVO Jazz. Speaking of jazz music, okay, it's kind of a long way to get around to jazz music, but anyway, in May 2020, I learned from a distant cousin that my great-great-great-grandmother escaped enslavement, and I learned this piece of information, if you can envision, if you care to, which if you don't, I don't judge you. If you care to envision May 2020, it was really that moment where it was like, oh, this isn't 2 weeks, this isn't 2 months, this is who knows how long. And, all the live shows were getting kicked down the can, and I just really didn't know when I was going to be able to perform again in front of people. And I was feeling very lost, as I'm sure most of us were. I was like, what is my life about to be? And to learn that bit of information right at that moment was incredibly helpful and inspiring, because all of a sudden I was reminded that I come from a legacy of resilience, which we all do. That's the only reason that we are here today. And it really inspired me to push forward and persevere. And so I felt it necessary to write a song in her honor. Apparently, her name was Maria. And I asked my dad to be on it because he is also her descendant. This is where it comes back around to the jazz music. So one day I just played the beat in his room, and I sat on the floor and put it on loop, and he improvised for like 20 minutes, and then he was like, I'm done. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I got on a plane and ate a strong edible and chopped up his vocals. So if anybody needs to pass a 6-hour flight efficiently, I highly recommend eating a strong edible. I can say that in Colorado because it's legal here. But yeah, eat a strong edible and chop up Bobby McFerrin's vocals. It's very fun, very entertaining, and passes the time in a very efficient way. But this is my song for Maria, and it is called Run. Run away, you can stay tonight, but disappear before the dawn. Take my hand, let's sing the stars. There's a I wrote it out just for you, but I need you to trust me. Let me take you from this place. You don't have to wait, but I need you to trust me. When the end is said and done, you won't have to wish that you knew how to run. When the end is said and done, you won't have to wish that you knew how to run. That you know how to run. Flyness, ladies and gentlemen. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Jesus. Thank you guys so much for watching. We like to have a good time. Once again, this is my friend Donis. My name is Madison McFerrin. I'm a completely independent musician, so thank you guys for tuning in, for buying tickets, for buying merchandise. You can follow me on all the things at Mad McFerrin, not at Madison McFerrin. She is a college student in Wisconsin. At this point, she might be like 30. I don't know. I don't think so. I only have a couple more songs for you guys. This next one is actually off of my last EP called You and I. It's produced by my big brother, Taylor McFerrin. Shout out to him. He is very cool. Also, a little factoid about this song. This beat is actually a beat he wrote for Solange, but it didn't go with her sophomore album vibe, and so I took it. Nice. It's mine now. I don't know why I said it like that. For those of you who have never been in the PBS studios here, there is a puppet of Mrs. Bird, as in Big Bird, in the hallway, and she's from the 50s apparently, and she is going to haunt my nightmares for the foreseeable future. So I think that's maybe where the demon sound came from. I'm actually being intercepted by the spirit of Mrs. Bird puppet. It's frightening. Okay, it's very disturbing, but it's okay. We're gonna keep it moving. Here we go. To try and listen, 'cause I might not know what to say. Selfishly, I'm worried you might run and hide. Selflessly, you're learning. I hold on to pride. No sacrifice comes without mistakes. We could fly. Take a leap of faith this time today. Try. But at least I'm living, unprepared to walk away. I won't let the same thing stop us every time. But why is it that changing feels like a goodbye? No sacrifice Usually at the end there with the audience, I'm like, all right, you guys say try it with me. 1, 2, 3, try. You know, it's a community moment. Once again, give it up for my friend Donis here, coming from Chicago. You can follow him at donis.thedon. Hire him because he's very talented. That's what I do. I fly him out to places where I am so we can play juntos, which in Espanol means together. It does. Okay, this is the last song of the bunch. Thank you, KUVO, for having me. It's always fun to do little in-studio drop-ins in cities. So thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Listen to my music on all of the things. I'm available there, as well as all of the social medias. Why? Because it's a requirement, particularly of independent musicians. Do I want to do it? Not necessarily, but I do. So pay attention. Okay, this last song is actually the last song I finished on my album. And for those of you who are new Madison McFerrin listeners, I started my solo career doing all a cappella stuff. I had a loop pedal, and it was fun and quite convenient travel-wise to just travel with a backpack. But I figured that there should at least be one a cappella song on my album. There's actually 2. And I wanted to write a song about like feeling myself, and I had made this beat that I liked, but it wasn't working out, and I was like, you know what, let's pivot to a cappella. So this is for all of my bad people. I usually say a curse word, but this is PBS, so we're gonna keep it PG, except for those F-bombs that I dropped earlier in the set. My apologies. All right.
You gonna see me and believe.
I could change your mind. Yeah. Keep you satisfied. My kind don't grow on trees. Like the high I'm feeling, you might need me to believe. Oh, I can save your time, make you wanna come inside and pray to stay for life. My kind don't grow on trees. Like the high I'm feeling, you gon' see me and believe in God herself. In God herself, baby. You gon' see me and believe in God herself. You gon' see me in God herself. You gon' see me. God herself. You gon' see me and believe in God herself. God herself.
So that was an amazing performance.
Thank you so much.
We have Madison McFerrin in studio, and actually I've been a fan of yours for a number of years. You've been putting out like sort of these loosies and EPs, and then finally last year you dropped your album, which is very idiosyncratic. Is that a good word for it?
You know, that's the first time I've heard that, but elaborate. I'd love to hear what you mean by that.
So it's there isn't another that feels like you. But then at the same time, what I loved about it is it sort of speaks to your musical heritage in a lot of ways. You know, it feels like an album that only you could produce, which sounds super cliche. I recognize that, but I hear a lot of music, and not a lot of music feels like that.
I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. I mean, that's definitely a goal. You don't want to fall into, oh, you sound exactly like this person or that person or whatever. I'm definitely trying to do my best to create my own lane and my own sound while still being in the world of my peers and whatnot. And so that means a lot. Thank you.
Absolutely. So let's take it way back. I heard you singing snatches of old school music and crazy like jingles and things like that in the in-between period before we did this interview. I'm just curious, what sort of music were you listening to as a kid? Obviously, there's the music that your parents like sort of exposed you to, but then also when you first were able to like make a mixtape or a mix CD and explore music on your own.
When I first burned a CD.
There you go. That's how we know
Y'all
the
don't know
age.
about that. Y'all don't know about that life. I mean, it was definitely a very eclectic musical upbringing, which I'm very grateful for. I mean, my parents were raising my brothers and I on a lot of like Wonder, Aretha Franklin, the Beatles, but then also, you know, my dad used to be a classical conductor, so there was a lot of classical music happening. And then my oldest brother, Taylor, he's 10 and a half years older than me, and so, you know, I'm in kindergarten and he's playing me Aaliyah and Timbaland and Outkast and stuff like that. And then I, as a kid, was listening to a lot of top 40 radio. Mm-hmm. So, you know, Spice Girls, Britney Spears, NSYNC, Destiny's Child, that was like, you know, it for me. I wanted to be Britney Spears when I was younger. Then I got a little older and I was like, actually, maybe not. But I definitely have had a wide range of musical exposure. And I think that really is apparent in the type of music that I make, because I'm not just drawing from one specific genre, because I've grown up with so many that I really love.
So speaking of just being a lover of music, when did you know that you wanted to pursue music? Obviously, you came from a musical family. Both parents, maybe folks know Bobby McFerrin. I don't know, maybe you've heard of him in your life. And grandparents, just all the way, like, long line of this. Like, when did you think, me too?
Okay, so my mother is not a musician, but she is a lover of music.
Okay.
And my dad says that when they first met, one of the ways he knew that she was really down was she had a copy of Downbeat magazine in her apartment, and he was like, what's this white woman from Springfield, Illinois doing with Downbeat magazine in 1975? Shout out to my mama. She is the best. But let's see. Honestly, I decided I wanted to be a singer when I was 5. And that was mostly out of, I saw my dad singing and he had a lot of fun. And I was like, I like to sing. And I think when you have that kind of exposure where it's like you can pursue that as a career path, you don't even really question it. And so I didn't. I was just like, oh, he does this, I could do this. And my parents were always incredibly encouraging. I mean, but they would have been encouraging if I wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever. But yeah, I decided really young and just did not question it. And sometimes I'll think back and I'm like, did I really want to do that as a kid? And did I just decide that and just like not come up with a plan B because that's what I wanted, or just because of what I saw? But it's very much what I wanted to do.
So let's take it even further. I mean, I don't think that it's super uncommon for a person to want to be a musician or a vocalist, but to be a producer is much more rare. But also to be a woman and a producer, what made you say, I'm gonna pick up this looper, I'm gonna pick up these like MIDI keys and like make it work for myself?
Well, I had to study production in college for a semester, or maybe it was 2, and I did not like it, mostly because I had convinced myself that I just couldn't express myself musically that way. And I think also because my brother's a producer, I was just kind of like, that's his lane. I'll do the singing thing. My middle brother's an actor. I was like, we all have our own things, you know? But then I had started to play around with it a little bit. I got Ableton like in 2019 and was using it for when I was starting to perform the UNI stuff. But it was really the pandemic that jump-started it, because all of a sudden I was home and I didn't have anything else to do, and I still really wanted to express myself musically. So I was like, I have this gear, let me figure it out. And what was really interesting was I feel like being a producer and learning those skills was really just like all of my musical skills coming together into one thing. And it was like, oh yeah, obviously I can do this. I know how to play the piano. I write my own songs. Like, it's just a matter of taking sounds that I hear in my head and like putting them out. And I got so much enjoyment out of it that I was like, let me do this. And, you know, for my sophomore album that I'm wrapping up right now, it's less of me like at the helm of the production and more so like being in the studio and understanding that I now have the language and understanding to be able to produce with other producers and really just make the best music possible, which I think is really exciting.
Cool. So Hope You Can Forgive Me comes out about a year ago, May 2023. I saw you perform in Chicago. Great performance, great recording.
That was a great show. Thank you.
It was a great show. Tell me about not just taking these songs that you made in a very intimate way and reimagining them for the stage, but also let's talk a little bit about tour math, because I've been hearing so much about artists that are like really having to reconfigure how they perform their music for their fans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, touring is tough. I do not think the majority of people who are not in this position understand what touring actually is. I feel like lots of times people are like, oh, you get to travel the world and you must see all these amazing places and la la la. And it's like, no, I see a lot of planes, trains, green rooms, hotel lobbies, hotel beds. The occasional day off that I have, I get to explore, but I'm maybe not exploring, I'm maybe catching up on sleep, you know? And when I was first starting out, I was really only able to maintain a touring career because it was just me and my looper. My ex was my manager, so he would travel with me, so it was just the two of us. When I first started out, I didn't have merch other than like these plastic cards that you could use to download my music. So it was literally just my carry-on roller bag and my backpack. And like when you take out a check bag fee, like that's one thing that's going. Taking out having band members, that's like all these other things, you know. But now that I've expanded my sound, I play with other musicians, it really is tough just being able to navigate how to make things work. And especially now in this economy, people are not buying tickets in the same kind of way. And it's not just for independent musicians like myself. Like you see like big artists like Justin Timberlake is having difficulty selling tickets. And then like I have a lot of friends who are, you know, they're maybe not that big, but they do have a production. They have like multiple band members and a tour manager and roadies. And it's like, all of that cost really adds up. And it's like, if you're not selling tickets, which unfortunately for a lot of people today, buying concert tickets is not something that they can even afford, even if they are cheaper, because it's like, okay, am I going to spend the $25 on this ticket, or do I need to use that for something else, which is a completely viable reason to not go to a show. And I totally understand that. And it's difficult. I have so many friends that are canceling tours just because it doesn't make any sense. And like, that's one thing that I have been really learning in this moment in time as I travel with more people. You know, it's like I have regional bands. I have like a West Coast band. I have a Midwest band. I have an East Coast band. I've figured out how to perform with just a drummer. You know, just all these ways in which I can still put on a show and make it economically viable for myself and for the people that I'm traveling with. Because like ultimately, shout out to Chicago and Midwest, that's the band that I'd like to like bring on the road with me. But it's like at the moment, that's not viable. And so you kind of have to sacrifice certain elements of the show that you want to perform and whatnot just to make rent. The math is not mathing.
Yeah. No, that's definitely what the word on the street is. Okay, so I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about the song Guilty, which was originally written some years ago
3 years
about
ago.
Derek Chauvin.
It was.
Right? But then somehow, in the way that the internet works,
Evergreen.
It's evergreen, and it got reanimated recently and just went like viral in a whole new way. Like, what was your reaction when you started seeing that popping off? And
Again or the first time?
both.
Okay, so really funny. The first time it happened, I was actually in studio working on another song, and it was the day that we all knew that the conviction was going to be announced. And so I was like in studio on my phone constantly being like, did he get convicted? Did he get convicted? I get picked up to go back home. I'm in the car on a phone meeting, and I'm still like on my phone trying to figure it out, and it comes down that he's found guilty. And I immediately had that loop in my head. And as soon as I got home, I like bolted out of the car, because especially with the internet, it's like you really have to be like on top of things. Got out of the car, get in my apartment, immediately start laying it down. And within 10 minutes, I had like the original video, and I posted it, and it like went crazy. And I love that, especially because it's like, it's house music. Everybody loves house music, particularly Black people, because we invented it. And it brought so much joy to people in this moment that was like, police officers rarely ever get convicted, and it really felt like a win. And I think the fact that there's so much joy in the song was like something that people really attached to. And funny, like I've reposted it a number of times because there have been a number of guilty MFers out here. And I'd always said, oh, whenever Trump gets convicted, that'll be the last time I post it. But I was saying it with an air of like, that's not gonna happen. And then it did happen. And I was like, oh snap, here we go. And I rarely ever perform it. I sometimes play it at the very end, but I think, it's the song that keeps on giving.
The song that keeps on giving. One last question. Speaking of songs with like resonance, Run, which you were able to collaborate with your father on, and being, dedicated to your ancestor who escaped slavery. I think that's really amazing. And I personally connect to that because I have family that came up on the Underground Railroad, and it's a whole vibe.
Yeah.
And it really changes the way you see not just yourself, but sort of like how you got to be where you are. Can you tell me about when you decided to create that homage? Like, what was in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I, like many other Black people in America, do not know much about my heritage, which is really sad and really heartbreaking. And so at the top of the pandemic, that was something that I just wanted to look into more so. And when I was contacted by this distant cousin who lives in Chicago, actually, I did not know that there are a bunch of McFerrin people in Chicago. And we actually met for the first time. He came to a show like 2 summers ago. It was really nice. Shout out to Malcolm. I just really connected to her resilience in that moment in time. It was just like, I mentioned this in the performance, but it was like, I remember very distinctly right before I learned that piece of history that I was just feeling so run down, and just, I think I had just gotten news that like the shows that were supposed to be in June that got moved to September were then like people were just like, we don't know if live music is ever coming back, and I had just released my EP, You and I, in December of 2019, and so I'd really felt like 2020 was about to be my year, and then it wasn't at all, nor was it for anybody, except for capitalists, but that's another story. But I just really felt it necessary to honor her in this way, because learning that history helped bring me out of a deep funk. And it's only a story that I could tell in this moment. And I'd thought that I wanted to do a collaboration with my dad, and it felt like this was the perfect opportunity to do it. And it also felt like, oh, this is a song that we could collaborate on, and it not just be, oh, Madison McFerrin collabs with her father, Bobby McFerrin. Like, it felt like there was a purpose behind it. And he's the only feature on the whole album. And so I felt like it was, just kind of my duty. I'm a songwriter. I'm an artist. I've always felt like my duty as a songwriter, and which has been the purpose of storytellers throughout time, is to share history and to talk about things that society is going through or has gone through. And I know that I'm not alone in wanting to feel more resilient and wanting to honor that part of myself. And I just really wanted to make a beautiful piece of music to honor her and just let her know that I'm grateful for the sacrifice that she made to ensure my life. Like, who's to say that I would even be here? Who's to say that my dad would be here, his parents, without her having taken that step? And one thing I forgot to mention was that Honey Dijon actually just did the remix for it, which I'm so excited about. And I felt like collaborating with a Black woman, particularly somebody who is so deep into house music, which is, to me, house music feels like some of the most ancestrally tied music. I feel like you can go to Africa and play house music and it's like directly, there's a direct line, and I felt like that was a really important way to bring the piece some new life. So I'm really honored that she was able to do that remix for me.
Great. Speaking of new material, I know you have a new album you're working on.
I am.
Tell me a story. Like, what are you excited about?
I'm excited about the whole thing. It's the best music I've ever written in my life. I say that without hesitation. I went through the biggest heartbreak of my life over the last year. And, I think that breeds a lot of creativity, and I'm very grateful for that. And it's helped me come out of a very dark place. And I think music has the power to do that. I have always said that, I'm not the only person to feel the feelings that I've felt. So even if I'm writing something that's deeply personal, I know that I'm not alone in that. I'm not the only person that's ever gone through heartbreak. So if I write about heartbreak, even if I'm saying a story that is only about me, other people are going to relate to it. And I'm so proud of the stuff that I've written. I'm like wrapping up the recording stuff of it. Actually collaborated with Gen Z queen herself, Willow Smith, on one of the songs. I'm just so excited for people to be able to hear it. And I'm actually starting to preview 2 of the songs at shows. So come through, hear them before they're on the internet and everywhere.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time,
Thank you
Madison.
for having me. I really appreciate it.